So I'm here to talk about Unhinged, which was a pretty popular film in 2020 that just came out and was recently thrown on Netflix, which I was pretty excited about because I didn't want to really search through the vault of streaming services and like renting it or whatnot. But it did seem like a film that I definitely wanted to check out somewhere without just running out and buying the Blu-ray first, which I don't even know if it's out on Blu-ray yet, but yeah, released in 2020, starring Russell Crowe, and basically everybody knows the general plot of it, I'm sure. It's about stress and road rage, and those two themes are played actually really well and really intensely in this film. Yeah, Russell Crowe, who's having a bad day, and this young mother encounters him on the road and honks her horn repeatedly at the wrong guy and ends up in a really sticky and messy situation. The young mother, I forget the actress's name, but I'll put it somewhere here, is really good, and she's really young for the son that she has. The kid from the Child's Play remake is in this film as well as her son. And I kind of am starting to see a pattern that this kid is cast as a teen kid with a young mom often. Well, twice, but it's kind of funny that he was cast twice in a row in that sense because his mother's in real life 14 years older than he is. And in Child's Play, his mother had him at 16, so kind of funny repetition there. Russell Crowe is badass in this movie, just kills the performance. He's so evil. And I definitely recommend watching this because it impressed the hell out of me. It's not going to be for everybody, of course. I'm going to get a little bit more spoiler-ish as I go on with this review, but for everybody watching so far who just wants to go check the film out, definitely go check the film out first because I don't want to spoil it any more than that. But getting into how I felt about the film in general, I gave it 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and I would probably give it, for my own personal rating, maybe like 81 or 82 out of 100. I found it perfect for the genre that it is as a thriller slash horror because I would say that there's horror elements in this film. They played them perfectly. It gives you anxiety while you're watching it. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. It keeps your adrenaline going. You're always wondering what's going to come next. It is pretty far-fetched, and you will have to suspend your disbelief on a few things. Two things that bothered me in particular is one where a young man gets he's tied to a chair, and Russell Crowe's character is behind the chair, and the cop is trying to get a shot at Russell Crowe's character in a house, and he's hiding behind the chair, so his body is mostly blocked, so the cop doesn't have a shot, and then eventually he lights the kid on fire and runs away, and the cop starts shooting at him like, I don't know, 5-6 times, and only gets his shoulder. I'm like, come on, this guy's pretty big too, and we're talking like 4 foot, 5 foot distance. The fact that the cop missed the guy is just totally unreal and unbelievable, but I guess that's just to add to the suspense of the film. And then the other thing involves a car collision where it's closer to the end where the young woman rams her average sized car into this guy's SUV or something like that, because I don't believe he's driving the truck at that time, but rams into the SUV, and the SUV literally, you can tell there was something lifting it up. It just goes right upside down. And a car's tiny. It basically suffers no damage whatsoever. And I'm like, okay, that's the most unrealistic collision I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, other than those two, there's also a scene in a restaurant that's a little bit far-fetched. But I wouldn't say too much on that one because a lot of people argue, and I kind of argued myself, that when somebody's being attacked violently, why doesn't anybody around help? Or why don't the cops show up faster in a situation like that? But thinking about it, it actually blends into reality a little bit more than you would like it to because there's a lot of situations like that that happen in real life that nobody bouts an eyelash to because they don't want to get involved. So even though this restaurant is filled with patrons and they're watching this guy literally being beaten to death or hurt to death and not doing anything about it, it kind of sends a message to the audience and the theme of the film that, yeah, this can happen. Like, you know, people do pretty violent things to other people, and nobody comes in and tries to resolve the situation because of their own fear and all that. But those are small little gripes, especially the one with the cop and the one with the car collision. Other than that, if you can get past those things, if you can, you know, brush those things off as just part of the movie, the rest of the movie is really really good. One aspect of the film too that I really enjoyed compared to other films of the same caliber is how they built the character played by Russell Crowe, the villain. And although a lot of films would just kind of say he's a crazy guy or say he has issues or whatnot, right from the get-go, as the film opens, you can tell that this guy is actually legitimately damaged because he's taking a bunch of pills, and I mean the murder of his ex-wife and her new boyfriend, husband, whatever, and him burning down the house. And as his character progresses throughout the film, you can tell that this guy is legitimately like snapped. Like you can tell that he's psychologically damaged, out of control, and does not care about living anymore. He's basically like a shooter. Like he just wants to mess up a bunch of people and reap the consequences, whatever they may be. He just doesn't care. He's a walking bomb, basically, and it really gives you a reason why. Like it shows how far he's gone into the void of anger and resentment and bitterness and not caring about living anymore and not caring about any consequences whatsoever. So I like that in comparison to a movie where it would just be like, oh, this guy's crazy and he wants to kill a bunch of people. Reasons unknown. I like how this film paid a little bit more attention to the details. There's not a lot of gore in this film, but there is a lot of violent and psychologically damaging scenes, like violent scenes. The violence is like right up there, even though it kind of lacks the gore a little bit. There's some, but it's not a gore fest or anything like that. It's mostly a psychological thriller that's extremely violent, in my opinion, where the deaths are more, you think about them more. It's like they're very unexpected. So it's a well put together film, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, hopefully if you don't consider those spoilers, even though I would, hopefully you already just shut the video off and went to watch the film yourself, or you're still here and watched the movie and either agree with my opinions on it or absolutely hated the hell out of it. To each their own. I really loved it, and I would consider it viable. So that's Unhinged. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like my reviews, or if you just like listening to my voice, and I will be back for plenty more. So until next time, have a good one, and cheers.